Hey everyone, Sir Jellybean here, and we're back with another CallToArms GatesOfHell Austwind tutorial. And this time we're talking mobile AA and support vehicles. So specifically, any kind of mobile armoured vehicle with AA, obviously AA on a truck, all these kind of anti-tank weapons on a vehicle. So obviously this is for Germany. I'm going to go through all the store for their inventories and kind of how they are effective and if they're actually worth bringing, mainly for Conquest, obviously, because in campaign you don't really get a choice, sometimes you're just stuck with them. So we'll start at the base. It's an Opal Blitz with a 2cm. Obviously, 2cm cannon being one of my favourites. It's not a bad weapon actually. It comes with 200 AP, 200 high X. Obviously, it's just a standard 2cm bomb. The actual rotation of it's not too bad. You can't aim direct at the front, but you can aim up pretty well. You can aim down pretty well. It's not a bad weapon. You can shoot into the sky, engage aircraft. It's pretty decent. The main problem is with it, even though it's cheap and doesn't take up many population cap, the truck's so light even small arms will kill it. It's armour 2 to 8, but most small arms will just penetrate the vehicle and destroy it. So it's not bad if you want some backline anti-aircraft, following your forces up, but do not rely on it in combat because it will get killed easily. And once the truck's down, the guys will jump off the gun. So it makes it very, very vulnerable. So this is the SKDS 2cm, very similar but more open topped. And the main reason this has the advantage is it can aim forward, as you can see. It can also spin round and aim up. So you've got a 360-degree turret. Carries the same 200 AP and 208 high X. Problem is though, it's the same, it's very light as well. 2 to 8 armour. It does have a little bit more speed, but like say backline following up, don't rely on it in combat. The only thing I can say that might be useful, if you're able to dig it in, so like into a tank ditch, the turret can peek over and be a bit more effective, but the drivers and the passengers are very, very vulnerable, so I would say give it a miss. You're better off just bringing the 2cm towed, in my opinion. Then there's the SKDS, it's a 3.7cm flak. Wouldn't let me put the guys in it for some reason, editor. It was just having a bad day, I guess. Carries 138 armour piercing, 150 HE. Obviously it's got armour piercing loaded anyway, I think. Oh no, it's got high X loaded in. But it's actually a pretty good weapon. Now, it obviously can't aim forward, it has the same kind of traverse as the Opal Blitz 2cm. But it's quite powerful, being 3.7cm. It's got a bit more firepower. It's the half-track variant. It's pretty quick at 50 speed. It's still very lightly armoured. So it has the same pros and cons of the last two. Obviously, same as the Opal Blitz, you've got to kind of reverse it to your position as well so it can fire effectively. But it will take down planes. And in the back lines, the only advantage is because it's a bit more high-powered than the last two. It can deal with light tanks and kind of armoured cars if they flank. So it's not the best, but you could kind of think about actually using it because it's the higher caliber variant, so it is a bit more powerful. Then there's the SKDS 27, which is a 3.7cm flak, but on an armoured truck, armoured half-track. Now this is actually worth bringing if you're going to bring some AA on a truck. 40 speed, but it's got 4 to 14.5cm, but it is armoured, so the vehicle's not as vulnerable. It has the same kind of layout, so you can't aim forward, but you can aim, obviously, pretty almost like it's about 270 degrees altogether, and you can move it up and down. Obviously carries 138 AP, 150 HE. I can't remember on the population cap, but it's not much, it's like 12 or 14. It's actually quite effective, and it is resistant to small arms, so I have used one before. They're still not going to be better than something like, an Austwind or a Whirlwind, but if you want to bring a truck with AA as you got it available, definitely think about it. It's a half-track technically. But yeah, it's not bad, and because it is armoured, it does give you a little bit more survivability. So it actually starts, this AA truck is probably the one that starts to get pretty decent. So definitely a think about using, but yeah, I don't mind it, and it looks pretty cool as well. Can't deny that. And at 40 speed, it's still going to be able to keep up with tanks and stuff. Then we've got the SKDS 10 5cm pack, 2 to 15 armour. It is lightly armoured. It's open topped as well, like crew's very vulnerable, like the others. It's 53 speed now. Obviously, the 5cm pack's a pretty good gun. And it's the same pack that you get on the ground. It's not the tank variant, it's the full 5cm pack, so it's pretty powerful. 20 armor piercing, another 10, so you get 30 armor piercing, 20 HE, 5 armor piercing composite rigid. Now this thing is actually quite decent. It can deal with light and medium tanks and even T-34s from the side and punch the turret. But like the only drawback, even though it can aim forward, it's very, very light. It really is a backline thing if you want a mobile pack, but in my opinion, you're better off bringing the 5cm actual anti-tank gun. It's got lower profile, you can hide it better and you can dig it in better. So I would avoid it, but if you really want that mobile pack, there is an option. It's quite dinky, so it's not too big. Next you've got the SKDS 8, which is the 8.8cm flat gun, and it's the Flak 18, which is the weaker variant, not as strong as the Flak 36. The armor's between 8 and 14.5, similar to the last armoured vehicle. It's Halftrack. It's pretty tough actually, like against small arms. And obviously the 8.8 there has great traverse all the way around. You can look down. It's actually pretty good. I haven't really used them, but I could see myself using them potentially in another German campaign, because one advantage it is on attack, you can bring one of these up, park it on the position you've just taken, and in a bit of cover it could be quite useful. Obviously it's quite vulnerable to get hit by anti-tank, but I can see the use of it, and obviously it can even fire into the air, so you've got an anti-air and anti-tank weapon. It carries 18 armor piercing, 5 composite rigid, and 18 HE. So it hasn't got too much ammo though, not as much as most tanks and stuff bring. So it is pretty decent, but it's very situational. But I could see it being useful in like a bit of a themed playthrough where you maybe playing a Strath Battalion or something where you're like trying to limit the amount of tanks you use. So yeah, but it's definitely not the worst option here. And like, you know, at least it's got some small arms resilience, and it's speed 40, so it can definitely keep up the tanks. Now we get onto the really cool AA. First we've got the Austwind. So its armor's 10 to 80. It's the same, basically based off the Panzer IV chassis. 42 speed, and obviously it has that 3.7cm flat gun. 200 armor piercing rounds, 184 high X. It also has a, if it lets me lock on, it's got an MG34, which is in the hull, I believe. Yep. It's pretty powerful. It carries 1200 round spear in that. It's actually really good. The Austwind, I've used it. It's got good range. It's fairly effective. The actual ammo clip is 16, so it can pump out rounds. It can deal with light armor, even some medium armor up close, and it will shred infantry. I don't mind the Austwind. It's obviously open top, so you've got to be a bit vulnerable, and obviously the armor around the turret is a lot thinner than the hull. But it's a great thing to bring up with, like, if you've got naval warfare or artillery, or tanks that need some kind of AA support. And obviously, if you pair this with like a Tiger or a Panzer IV, there's lots of infantry in front of you. Say, let's say there's infantry there. You can just unleash on them, really dig into them. So it is a great little mobile AA tank. So yeah, definitely worth bringing the Austwind. And I think it's about 700 manpower and about 25 population cap to bring in. But it is actually quite worth it. That's off Conquest Enhanced though, so it might have changed in normal Conquest. But still, definitely a top tier choice, worth bringing. And now my favourite, the Whirlwind. So this monster has four 2.7cm cannons, the flak Verling. The same thing they used to use as an AA mount at like airfields and stuff and on flat batteries. It carries 1600 armor piercing rounds, 1520 HE round spear, but it's got 80 loaded into the turret. It's the same armor as the Austwind. It's a little bit slower at 38. Obviously it's open topped, and the driver is a little bit more vulnerable in this one, or should I say the gunner, he definitely pokes out a bit more. It's same drawbacks as the Austwind Pro's, strong hull but weak around the turret. The thing absolutely shreds, and it also does have a hull MG, just in case you haven't got enough firepower. I'm just going to open up and just demonstrate. Let's say infantry are pushing you, and you need to take them out. This is why this thing is the beast. As you can see, nothing would be left standing. It's amazing, and the reload speed for all those guns, it's about 8 or 9 seconds. And we're already reloaded. Start firing again. It's crazy powerful, and it can obviously rip into aircraft. Let's say aircraft come close. Due to this kind of spread off it as well, it really does shred. It's my favourite mobile AA choice. It's very effective, and if you pair these up with a Tiger or a Panzer IV or a Stug, it'll destroy infantry. It'll even destroy like light positions like anti-tank guns and stuff. You load those armor piercing round them, shreds right through them. So it's very, very versatile. The Whirlwind, in my opinion, is the top anti-air pick. And also that little front MG might seem a bit overkill having more stuff, but if you watch the Conquest Enhanced series, I do a bit where I attack one of these, and the MG is really useful. So this thing is a top tier infantry killer, and even light vehicles, aircraft, just shreds through. So definitely take the Whirlwind. It's a yes from me. Anyway, I hope you found that video useful. If you did, like, subscribe and leave a comment, and I will see you on the next one. Have a fantastic weekend, everyone.